Yes. As somebody commented already, the cold front bullies. We are here. Got the shades on because we punched our ticket and we know we going somewhere probably warm. Hopefully it ain't KC. But you know what time it is. Fred Kilmartin, we got the W.
Yes,
so,
sir.
When we get the W and we get the win, that means he turns into Buckethead Fred. Turn the bucket. Put the bucket hat on, Fred.
Yes,
Put
sir.
the bucket hat on. Man, this
Yes,
feels
sir.
good. We went in there. We waved our towels in Pittsburgh. We danced the Renegade, and we got the W. That's what I'm talking about. They take the shades off. It's nighttime. But, hey, fellas, we are headed to the playoffs.
Yep. We're heading to the playoffs second time in 3 years with McDermott under the helm. And what's nice is that we didn't have to have anybody help us get there. We did it on our own. We did it at week 15. Still got 2 weeks left.
They clinch a playoff spot in week 15. It's never happened in my life before. I mean, I'd have to ask you guys what it's like. It's
like
great.
this. It feels like this.
You know, it used to be common, you know. Then all of a sudden, like some years we went to rebuild, a 20-year rebuild. Doesn't matter if it's 20 years, doesn't matter. Don't judge us. And it became uncommon. But guess what? It's common again. We win it 2-0 in prime time.
Yeah. And not only 2-0 in prime time, but the ratings are through the roof for the Bills. People want to watch Bills play. Bills Mafia is boosting ratings on television. Are you kidding me?
Right. I mean, did they not think Bills Mafia wasn't going to show up when we were going prime time? For Christ's sake, if you go back to the time we played Dallas on prime time, we had people in Chewbacca costumes. On Sunday night, remember the Chewbacca costumes? Come on, man. This is Bills Mafia. But fellas, we're going to the playoffs. We don't know who we're playing yet. We're still actually in the race to win the AFC East.
Yes.
We're still in the race for a bye week, possibly. So we're not done yet. We still got to finish business with them old dirty cheating Pats.
Yes, definitely.
But
yeah, that's the game that I've been waiting for, to be honest with you. That's the game I've been waiting for. Ever since that cheap shot they put on Josh Allen, I've been waiting for this game. And I know the Bills players are probably licking their chops to get up there too.
Yeah, that's what we're going to call them. The dirty cheating Pats going forward. Mm-hmm. Dirty Harry. Dirty Billy, we're going to call them. All right? But no, guys. Good game last night. I think it was a game that we all expected to go the exact way that it went. A defensive struggle. Hats off to both defenses. Hats off to both defenses. They both played tough. They both played hard. But at the end of the day, we had Josh Allen and they had a duck. Quack, quack, and that was the end of the game. That's in the story. We had Josh and you had a duck. Your rubber ducky didn't get it done. As simple as that. So what was your thoughts on some of the game? I'm going to come to you first, Fred. You got the bucket hat. You got the win. So you know what? We'll start off with you, Mr. Kilmartin.
Yeah, I mean, I was really impressed with the way the defense played. I didn't like some of the penalties that we were taking on offense, but for the most part, you know, we were still moving the ball. We looked like we were sticking to the running game, which is nice. I like seeing Devin Singletary. I still want to see another back out there. I mean, Gore only had, what do you have, like 10 carries for like 15 yards? Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see another back. But overall, the offense, they look good. I mean, Josh Allen came out, that first throw that he threw at Beasley, I couldn't believe he threw it in there. I mean, there was like that was like a small window, and he zipped in there. He was zipping the ball all night, actually. He missed a couple here and there, but for the most part, they looked good. He looked good. He was poised, and I don't even think it bothered him being at the Sunday Night Football. I don't think he realized that it was prime time and how big the game was. But, yeah, hats off to the defense and the team itself. They look great.
Clayton, what'd you think?
You know, it's just another example of the moment not being too big for Josh Allen. Because I went back, I watched the game, and there was really only one throw where it was like, ugh, like that was bad. And there was the flat pass to Cole Beasley. I think it was on like 2nd and 6, something like that.
Yeah.
But that was it. That was it. There were a lot of drops in this game. That's kind of a nitpicky thing. But if you think about it, the yards added up. That 2nd and 18, John Brown let through his hands as Josh Allen fit it between 3 defenders. That pass to Cole Beasley over the middle was intercepted. That pass to Cole Beasley over the middle that was dropped on 3rd down.
Yep.
Josh Allen I thought he had an excellent game personally. His supporting cast wasn't doing very well helping him out, but you look at that last drive, the 8th comeback drive in the 4th quarter of his career. The clutch gene. This kid's got it. The clutch gene.
The Iceman.
We haven't seen something like this. I've never seen something like this in Buffalo in my life. I really haven't.
Right.
So I can't compare it to anything I've seen that's really hitting home. And, 8 fourth quarter leading drives in just not even 2 seasons. Come on. That's unheard of. I think, I said it a couple weeks ago on the Overtime podcast, but this kid's the franchise quarterback the Bills have been longing for.
Guys, don't worry about Clayton. He has not seen. Clayton is 15. So he has not seen a ton of football.
I'm 19 and a half, thank you.
He has not seen the Alex Van Pelt in 1997. Just saying. Alex Van Pelt has some comebacks. I'm just saying.
Alex Van Pelt, a.k.a. Doughboy.
Right.
Saw Kyle Orton come back against the Vikings a couple years ago.
Right. But no, you know what? Josh Allen, I thought he played particularly well. We do have a question in the chat that actually is going to bring up our next point. Ray Cruz says, I feel that Dabble tried keeping it vanilla. Do you think they are scheming for New England already by not revealing their true game plan? Ray, you know what? I think Brian Dabble is vanilla. And I don't think they were hiding anything. I don't know how much he has in his cubby to hide. It's like a cubby when you go to kindergarten. You only fit 2 shoes in there.
Didn't we talk about this leading up to the first New England game? Like, why are the Bills so vanilla the first 3 weeks of the season? Oh, they're saving it for the Patriots. And not much special was saved for the Patriots. I'm hopefully, optimistically, you can think that, but I don't think so, to be honest.
I hope they are. I hope they got something for the Patriots. I really do. I mean, I think this is a vulnerable Patriots team right now that we're getting ready to go to play with the issues that they're having on offense. I mean, this is a time to strike at these guys. Yeah, they still got that defense. They're still going to keep bringing that 6-7 man front against us. But if we can pick up the blitz and we can move the ball on these, I think we got a chance to beat the Patriots this weekend.
Right. What do you think about this, Clayton? What do you think about Brian Dabble? Yeah, Brian Dabble and the Patriots heading to this game?
I think this is a game where if you score 20 or 23 points, you can win. But that's far easier said than done when you match up against that defense. That's far easier said than done when this Bills offense is really hit or miss. They're averaging just over 23 points per game since the bye week, but they were averaging 26.7 the first 3 weeks coming out of the bye, and now they're averaging 17 points per game the last 2 weeks. Not saying that they've played 2 solid defenses the last 2 weeks, but given the trend, I don't expect this team to score more than 20 points against the Patriots. The Ravens are a solid team. The Steelers are a solid team. The Ravens played Josh Allen very similar to how the Patriots played him in week 4. I expect them to send a lot of cover 0, a lot of man coverage against Josh Allen. And I'm not saying this game isn't winnable, but if you score 20 points, I think you win without a doubt. If you're in that area, 16, 17, that's where it's going to get a little dicey. But
we got the defense behind it. We're going to get to the defense. We got another comment. Daryl D. Jacobs says, Josh is on point. The only thing is if he can control the bomb passer, Josh will definitely be the elite quarterback. You know what? I gotta agree. And this is why I the other week in the Ravens week, I compared Josh Allen to Donovan McNabb. And I said that's the best comparison that I could come up with for Josh Allen is Donovan McNabb. And I still feel that way because Donovan would have these type of games where when Donovan mechanics were on, he was almost unstoppable. Like I said, Josh is he does scrum, but Donovan could run too, but he wasn't a scrambler like a Michael Vick or a Dante Cole. He was an opportunist scrambler, and I think that's what Josh is. But when their mechanics were on, they were on point. Everything that Josh Allen do, I've kind of seen the Donovan McNabb do. Breaking out of tackles, break out of sacks behind the line, creating plays, keeping them alive, be able to just rip the ball down the field on the run. It's all things I've seen from Donovan McNabb. And I still think that that's the prime comparison for him. And as far as Josh Allen in prime time, he is prime time. Yeah, this does not affect him. And I said a couple weeks ago, he played 2 primetime games in college, and he bombed them both. Wyoming played Oregon, and Wyoming played Iowa, and he bombed them both with scouts in the stands. At that point, well, mind you, he's playing against top-tier talent at those schools with the tier talent he had at Wyoming that did not add up. But end of the day, he told himself, I'd never have primetime games like that again.
I don't think he had the weapons around him, though, either, when he was at Wyoming.
Well, no, of course not. Of course not.
Yeah, not like he had. But you know what? And you know what you got to talk about, too, is this offensive line, the job that they did giving protection to Josh Allen. I mean, they protected him well. Against that defense, I mean, they only gave him 1 sack, really. I mean, a half and a half, so they get 1 sack on him.
1 sack for the leading sackers in the NFL.
Yeah, that's huge.
That was a great – it wasn't just the offensive line, though. I will say that Bud Dupree and J.J. Watt, they were doing things similar to as the edge rushers for the Ravens were doing. They were flying upfield and saying, Josh Allen, all right, step up in this pocket. Now this week, Josh Allen recognized that on film, improved from his game against the Ravens where they were doing similar things. Both edge rushers were flying upfield. So as a response, he stepped up in the pocket, made the play when it was necessary. It was great pocket awareness this week from Josh Allen.
And shout out to the like 5 screen pass we threw. I mean, we haven't. God knows, I don't think we saw a screen pass from like week 3 to like 12 or something like that. And now we got 5, and I'm happy because when teams are going to stack the box, and you alluded to this point a couple weeks ago, Fred, about teams and the Patriots had the blueprint to continue overloading the box, especially on third downs on the kid. And we wouldn't try a screen pass to save our life. But now we're getting a screen game. We're slowing the defense down. Guess what? Yesterday we ran some plays that, as Clayton just said, the defense ran up. They were overly aggressive, and we got yards because of it.
Yep.
So, can you stop turning the pages? What are you doing?
Why is that so loud?
I don't know. Jesus, you're gonna give the listeners a paper cut. But no, I think I'm not a fan of Dable's game plan last night, and I can't say that. I liked his game plan last night. I thought it was solid. It was still vanilla, but I think that's the best we're going to get from Dable, personally. What do you think?
I did notice he was running a couple 2 tight end sets as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's getting his quarterback killed the last couple of weeks, and he said that they were supposed to change protection. You don't know how you're supposed to change protection with 4 receivers on the field, but go ahead, Clayton.
I mean, it's the Brian Dable vanilla special. I mean, it's been like this. He is consistently inconsistent on a week-to-week basis. We see this offense have 37, 20, and 26 against 20 points against a pretty good defense. And then, I don't think we can really gripe about 17 points against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers, while they have their woes on the offensive side of the ball with a 4th-string quarterback in there, they are a damn good defense. That is one of the best front sevens in football with guys like Cam Hayward, Devin Bush, J.J. Watt, and Bud Dupree, as I previously mentioned. And Tyson Alualu, who's, I think, was a first-round pick in 2010. They have talent up there. That is a tough matchup along the interior, against the edge rushers, and against those linebackers who can run sideline to sideline. I thought that the game plan this week was to ground and pound and beat them on the ground. They established the running game. I think they attempted 38 rushes with Frank Gore and Devin Singletary combined. They both got a really decent workload today, and I think that ultimately carried us to a victory.
Well, that's with Josh Allen. Singletary had 21, Frank had 10, and I think Josh had another 8.
7.
So so we kept on the ground. No, it was good, and that gets to our next point, and our next comment from a Shreveko. Devin Singletary is running like a pit bull throughout the game. The way he cuts and jukes be so smooth.
Yeah, he was definitely getting the holes. I mean, he was making some guys miss a lot of tackles there last night.
He made them whiff.
Yeah, I was impressed.
I tell you what, they should give him an endorsement to Swiffer Jets because he comes out of games so clean.
Yeah,
this kid's barely getting hit. He's been getting tackled. He's so clean after most games. He needs to be endorsed by Swiffer. I'm seriously, I'm not even joking.
Mm-hmm.
Swiffer.
Swiffer Jet.
Swiffer Jet, yes, exactly. Hopefully we don't get sued. I think we can say that. I don't know, but whatever. Swiffer Jet, you can endorse us too. No, Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary has. I'm not gonna say he's been the single most important addition to this offense, but since he came, you saw him really turn up after he came back from the hamstring injury, and has not slowed down. And this offense there's definitely been a huge uptick in this offense. What do you think? What are you seeing from Devin Singletary, Fred? What are your thoughts on him? I think that he brings another aspect to this offense. I mean, he really does. You have to account for this kid. And when they're putting him out in the flats or they're lining up behind Josh, I mean, you really got to count and find out where he is. He's 5'9", and the way that he hits these holes, you would think he was a bigger back. But he makes that one shift, one cut, and he's gone. He has where he could break one at any time and take it to the house. He's very impressive. And, I mean, 21, I'd like to see him get a little bit more carries, to be honest with you. I would see right around 25 maybe, you know what I mean, a game like last night. But, throwing in Frank Gore, they just they work well together. But I think Frank should be getting more carries as well. I just think that we should be running more with these guys. But Devin Singletary, yeah, he's impressive to watch. I'm going to disagree with the Frank comment. I'll get back to that right if we get to Clayton on the Singletary. Why I don't think Frank Gore should get more carries, but why I do think that TJ Yeldon should be activated, especially now.
Yeah, we all agree with that.
Yeah, go ahead, Clayton. What you think?
Right from the start, I was kind of disappointed with Devin Singletary when the Bills drafted him, and I could not be more wrong here. However many months later, I wanted Chase Winovich, who's now on the Patriots, but Devin Singletary, I think he is one of the best additions that this front office made in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And I think something that we're really overlooking is the two really special talents that Brandon Beane and this scouting staff found in the third round with Dawson Knox and Devin Singletary.
Yep.
Devin Singletary, I think he is going to be a special back in this league. I'm not going to say he's going to be the workload back. I still think you need another change of pace, a faster, more explosive back to pair with him maybe next season. But Devin Singletary and Dawson Knox, I think those two are going to be special elite talents in the National Football League for the Bills for years to come. And I couldn't credit Brandon Beane and this scouting staff any more than I have for finding those two players in the middle of the draft.
No, and speaking on Devin Singletary, and I heard you say the point that you were unhappy when they drafted him. Actually, if we go back to our off-season report, and I don't know if Clayton was actually actively with CFR at the time, but we're doing our pre-draft shows. We brought up Devin Singletary's name multiple times and I think we said on one show, I have to go look back and see what we exactly said, and I believe we said for it, if the Bills drafted a running back either third round or above, Shady McCoy be gone. And we also said that Devin Singletary would be a top option to replace LaShawn McCoy.
Just because of the workload that he had in college.
Right. And I think that's where his vision comes into play because he had that huge workload. Now, we know he's been a little dicey in the passing game at times. But like you said, I think, how many passes did he get in receptions he had in college? Out of 3 years?
2. It was like 2.
Yeah,
he didn't get many carries, passes to him.
Right, it wasn't much. So it's understandable why his receptions are a little dicey there. And he'll grow into that too. Trust me. Adrian Peterson came into the league and he couldn't catch anything when he came out. He didn't even know how to run routes when he came into NFL. He didn't. But by his third year, he got it. And even to this day, he can still receive the ball. So that's the least of my worries. But this kid we thought he was gonna be a change of pace back. I didn't think at any point in this season that he would be the one getting 20 and Gore be getting this is Gore's most carries in the last 3 games, I think. Like Gore's been getting like 5 to 6 carries a game over the past 3 or 4.
The fact that you look at Devin Singletary coming out of college, the size of him, and now he's looking at like a featured back for the Bills. I would never guess that he would be a rookie at his size, be a featured back for the Bills, just because I was basing on how many carries he did have in college. I thought that he was a little beat up and banged up. That's why I can't believe he is our featured back. Like you said, JT, I thought he would have been that change of pace back for us.
Right. And, it's funny that, they alluded to last night. I know it was funny that you brought up that before our pre-show chat. You're talking about the Smurfs commercial they brought up with the heights of the receiver. Yeah. But there was another point they brought up about Devin Singletary and Chris Callen where he doesn't say a lot of things that I like. I'll just be honest. He doesn't say a lot of stuff that a lot of us like. But to be honest, he did say that it's hard for a defense to see a smaller back.
Mm-hmm.
And with Devin Singletary being 5'7", you can see that it is hard for them to find him. And he's shifty. And it's almost a situation where it's like, oh, you got him. Oh, no, you don't. And he's past you, and he's strong for a little. He is strong back. He's not a scat back. He's a strong back,
power back.
Yeah. So so shout out to him. Like Clayton said, definitely shout out to Bean for bringing him in. That was it's a great move. It has ultimately changed our season.
Right.
Arguably, you talked about it at the beginning of the season when they were kind of being patient with his hamstring injury, when they were letting him ease along, and they sat him, I believe it was through the bye week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
they sat a month, right?
The point you brought up to me, JT, on a particular show when I was saying, get this kid carries. He should have more than 12 carries in a game. And I think it was after the Giants game. You said they're saving him for the latter half of the season when you won't have a fresh Frank Gore, when you won't have fresh legs with a veteran running back who's in his age 36 season. So you have a young running back ready to have 20 carries per game. And, he's being the feature back, and he's largely the reason why the Bills have won 2 of their last 3 games or 3 of their last 4 games.
Right. And, and the thing is he's fresh, and that's the key word, fresh. And that goes to our next point of what we've been saying for weeks. At this point, this is why TJ Yeldon should be active now.
Right.
To add another fresh pair of legs, because like I said, obviously this running game is going to be your formula to win. I highly doubt at any point through the season we're going to say the Bills are going to air it out and beat a team that way.
No.
So, especially going to the playoffs. You're talking about Houston, teams like KC, New England. I'd be highly surprised if we air raid one of those teams and actually win that game.
Well, then you got to look at the weather, too, this time of year as well.
Right. Exactly.
So that's why it's important to have a running game.
Right. So, I mean, at this point, I think you guys agree. I mean, we all said it. TJ Yeldon should be activated and actively being used because this is going to be your bread and butter.
I just feel like I've been saying for like the last month, I just feel that we should have 3 backs dressed for every game. That's just my opinion. I think you got 3 different backs doing 3 different things, 3 different styles, and they bring different things to the table. I just think that the Bills they're missing it. Why they don't have that? I mean, like I watch Frank Gore, and when he runs, I worry about the guy getting hurt just because of his age. I just worry. I mean, every time he goes down, I'm like, oh, is he going to back up? Well, you don't want to be stuck with one guy.
Yeah, no,
I've been saying since the last time we played the Patriots to activate TJ Yeldon. And maybe the last 2 games of the season is really a good time to start getting him heated up. I mean, I wouldn't say so. I think he could potentially get injured if being inactive for so long. Is that not a concern for anybody else?
Well, I'm kind of concerned too. Is why the Bills were looking at some running backs just this week.
I'd love Alex Collins, to be honest. I would love to have
Collins.
Alex
Is the
Collins.
kid that played for Baltimore, right?
Yeah, he's a power. Somebody just alluded in the chat, and I'll find out who said it. But Sharif Cole said we need a young power back to burst for huge gains and break loose for long pairs to pair with Singletary. And Mike Back, who's a great. If you guys don't follow things that Mike Back say, make sure you follow what this guy says. He knows what he's talking about. As good as Singletary is, we need to still get him a partner back there. And I agree, and we all agree with that. And alluding that's kind of back to Alex Collins' wall, especially with Baltimore. So I mean, we'll see what happens there. It'd be very interesting to see what we do with this roster going forward, especially around playoff time. I mean, if you're gonna activate Yeldon, I'm assuming you got to do it in these next 2 weeks to get him back. Oh yeah, so I want to stop the show really quick. We get people put in the chat that Drew Brees has passed Peyton Manning tonight, so definitely give a shout out and congratulations.
540.
Yep.
TDs.
Wow. He broke the record. So definitely shout out to Drew Brees. Hopefully it's to Michael Thomas because he's on my fantasy team.
I'm playing Drew Brees right now on my fantasy team.
Well, that's not good.
On my other one.
He just broke the record. So shout out and congratulations to definitely Drew Brees on that record. Class act there. Franchise quarterback. Hopefully Josh Allen can get there one day. John Brown. First Bills receiver to get 1,000 yards now since Sammy Watkins did it. 2015. Did any of us expect John Brown to be a 1,000-yard receiver? I thought 800. We had Nate Geary on here. Nate Geary said 800. Matt Perino, I think, on the show said around 850, and I think Sal Capaccio said around the same. So I'm assuming that all of us are in that area from 700 to 900 yards. He's over 1,000 with 2 games to go.
And I was kind of optimistic myself to see him get 1,000 yards. And the only reason why I am, it was based on the receivers that this staff of McDermott and Bean have been bringing in, that weren't panning out. The receivers they brought in, they weren't even close to 500-600 yards a season. So I was optimistic. Seriously, I didn't think that he would do, but that's a testament of the hard work that John Brown puts in. I mean, this guy, he was all over the place last night, making catches, sideline catches. He was impressive.
And we alluded to last show, before we get to Clayton, that the last couple games he was only averaging, he was in the first 12 weeks or whatever, he was averaging like
50.
Well, 10 to 13 targets a game.
Yes.
The last 3 to 4 games, it dropped to 5 targets where Cole Beasley would get it. Last night, we were back up to 10 targets and 7 receptions.
And Beasley was down.
Right. But Beasley was messing up. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Clayton, John Brown, 1,000 yards. What's up?
We talked about it, or I talked about it last year, about the dynamic would change entirely if you added a 1,000-yard receiver to the crop of receivers that the Bills had from last season. And, they essentially just switched them out. I mean, John Brown, I didn't expect him to have 1,000 yards. I'd be lying if I said that was my expectation going into the season, but it's certainly a pleasant surprise. And, I shouldn't be surprised because this is a guy who has gone team to team, has never been that number one go-to option in any offense. While that might help him on opposite boundaries from very good receivers like Anquan Bolden or Larry Fitzgerald, it's also been a downfall for his stats. This is only his second 1,000-yard receiving season in his career. The only other coming with the Cardinals, where he had Anquan Bolden, where he had Larry Fitzgerald, that team that was just stacked with wide receivers. Mm-hmm. And now he comes to Buffalo. He's the go-to threat with only really just another one wide receiver that opposing defenses have to account for and have to respect. So this guy's, more often than not, he's going to see the double team. And the fact that he can still do it when seeing the double team on a week-to-week basis, yes, he had a slide off the last 3 games coming into this week. But 7 catches for 99 yards against, I'd say, an average secondary. That's a solid game in prime time. And John Brown has overplayed his value at this point, I think.
And you know that John Brown wasn't even planning on coming to Buffalo. He was actually going to look for other options when the Bills came to him.
He wanted to go to the Steelers, but they didn't want to give him enough money.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, since he's been here, he's embraced the city of Buffalo. He loves the Bills Mafia, and you could tell he's showing on the field.
Well, that's the biggest thing. It's, and I've talked to a couple of players that's played in the league previously and that are still active in the league. And, it's the same. It's the thought process. It's the word of mouth of what Buffalo is, what it is playing in Buffalo. Buffalo got a bad rap for a lot of years, as far as the culture of the team. And I will use the word culture as much as I hate that word, but I will use the word culture. The culture of the team, the facilities, how the team was being ran. It was nothing ever anything bad about the fans, but the organization. The Pagulas have come in and they've changed all that around. They've brought people in that have changed the locker room, changed the culture, and they've invested money into the team with the weight room and different things like that. You're seeing people like Micah Hyde, and actually I do want to give Micah Hyde a shout out because him and his wife Amanda, and we will run that promo later, are having their 2nd annual Imagine for Youth Foundation. They're giving kicks to kids. They're going to be giving out shoes. Combine that with Lorenzo Alexander's Aces Foundation tomorrow. So I'll play that promo a little later. But you're getting the team back involved in the community. Like you see Sean McDermott, the picture I have on the screen right now is Sean McDermott walk around the stadium in Pittsburgh, shaking fans with all the Bills fans that are there. And this is exactly the same type of picture that was taken in Dallas and Tennessee and both New York games and Miami. Okay.
Well, even when we all met him, how was Sean to us? Like we've known him forever.
Great guy.
No, he's a great guy. Down to earth.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He is a genuinely great guy. What you see on TV is like what you give a Sean. We went to him and say, "Hey, coach, how are you? Hey, guys, how are you? What are you doing?" He's a great guy. Great guy. But no, it's John Brown he's like as Clay said, he's outplayed his value. And we've got what we need. I still think we need to add a person, and I'm going to say it right here on this show now. So make sure that we're the first ones to say it. I think the name that you go after the offseason, because there's going to be a big question. I don't want to get into the offseason because we still have more unfinished business, will be Corey Davis from Tennessee. I'm just going to put that out there now. That would be the one I would be looking to trade for.
I would love it. I would love it. But I want to go back to what you were saying about the Pagulas for a moment. Mm-hmm. Because, when the Pagulas bought the Bills, the first real move they made was to hire Rex Ryan. And they really got off on a bad foot with me personally. But you look at everything since then, bringing in McDermott, bringing in Brandon Beane, bringing in the right people to run this organization, to get the Bills franchise essentially turned around. Because let's call it what it is. The Bills were irrelevant for the better part of 2 decades. This football team hadn't won anything. They weren't going to the playoffs. Sean McDermott comes in here. He has the roster overachieves and makes the playoffs at 9-7. And then you gut the roster. You bite the bullet with the cap. You get rid of all these bad contracts going into 2018. And I thought that was a 2 or 4 win football team, and they managed to get 6 wins out of it with a developing quarterback. And now here you are in year 3, 10-4. And I think Sean McDermott is one of the 2 considerations for Coach of the Year. And I think
he has to be.
I think Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane need to get extended after this season, without a doubt.
Well, we don't even know what their contracts are.
I thought it was a 3 or 4 year deal.
Their contracts have never been disclosed.
No,
I've been looking for the last 3 years. I even looked 2 weeks ago because we brought it up again. Their contracts had never been disclosed of how many years of what they're making.
Whatever it is,
I've been
asking
that. I've been saying it since last year. I think it's time that he gets an extension. I want to keep this guy around.
Whatever it is, put 4 more years.
We don't even know how long he's already under contract for.
Yeah,
put 4 more years.
But speaking, I don't know how many people have seen the clip of as we're speaking about the Pagulas and the organization and how the players want to stay. I actually also want to bring up, if you haven't seen the clip of Jordan Phillips today interrupting the press conference of Brandon Beane, we're gonna play that for you. It's pretty cool, and it just shows what kind of culture that we have here in Buffalo now.
This man right here, Brandon Beane. He doesn't get enough credit, man. This is the man that put everything together, helped us out. He's a hell of a guy, hell of a leader. Brandon Beane. That's all I want to say. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what type of culture we have now. And it's awesome to see. It's awesome to have. Well, let's take a couple questions, and then we're going to really talk about this elite defense because we do have a couple questions about the defense. Patrick Wilson says, thoughts on Duke Williams? Why is he not dressing? Are you saving him for next year, or is he just not good? I think we answered this last week from a viewer, too, and we just think that he doesn't fit the scheme that they're going to. I think we all agree that they're going to more of a speed package. He doesn't get separation. And
they're putting a lot of speed on the team with these smaller receivers we have now.
Right, and I just don't think that he's going to play this year. I think that he go into camp, maybe another body.
Maybe someone gets injured.
Right. Chris English asks, do the Bills re-sign Phillips and Lawson? One scary thing about these guys playing well is we won't be able to keep everybody in the next couple of years. That is a very good point. And you know what? Let's talk about that point. Before we do, Christmas is coming up. And there are great stocking stuffer options out there. These great Colt socks with the 716 in your Bills colors. You may be going to a playoff game somewhere, and maybe Colt, who knows where we're heading. But you may want to get you or bring you a pair of these because these are very comfortable, they're relaxing, and they keep you warm. And don't forget, if you are going to a game, you also want to take your Bills Mafia, and I got it upside down, custom Baker brand, so you can rep your team in whatever city. Don't jump through tables. We don't condone it. You could get hurt. But no, Jordan Phillips has outplayed his value, and I'm scared about what kind of contract he will get in the market because we've seen teams overpay for defensive tackles in past years. But we also seen the other year when Dontari Poe and Hankins both hit the market that no one got paid a defensive tackle. So I don't know what type of year it's going to be, but if I had to take a pick, and I will say this, I'm going to pay Shaq Lawson before I pay Jordan Phillips because I do have Ed Oliver, and you still have Star Latulippe on a $10 million per year deal.
Yes. Yep.
Guys, Shaq.
Absolutely. Shaq Lawson. I mean, what can you say about the guy? I mean, this is his coming out party. I mean, he's finally, I don't know if he's grown, he's matured a little bit now since he, come out of college, but I mean, he really is a different maker. This guy's motor is running constantly. You're not hearing a lot about Jerry Hughes because Shaq Lawson is taking all the limelight away from him. I mean, he's already up to 6.5 sacks already on the year. He's pushing close to that 10 sack mark. And I mean, he's making plays after play after play. He's putting pressure on the quarterback. He's hitting running backs in the backfield. He's chasing running backs down. So yeah, I mean, this guy is proven to the Bills that he wants to be here. He wants to get paid. He wants to stay here.
He does get paid. Confidence through the roof. No cap. What's up, Clay? What you got on Shaq?
Shaq Lawson, I really didn't like Shaq Lawson from the time he got picked. And he is 110% taken what I've said and proven me wrong. And just changed my thoughts of him, changed my entire opinion of him. And, we've talked about this just about every week. And if I had to pick one of the two to sign, it'd definitely be Shaq. Because, you can't re-sign everybody. You're going to have very important players that you want to get signed up. You're going to want to re-sign Trey White this year. That dude's going to be the highest paid corner in football going into 2020 next year. I can almost guarantee it. And, I think Jordan Phillips with 9.5 sacks this year, assuming he gets to 10 sacks, I think he is going to be a tad bit out of Buffalo's price range. And given what the team has recently invested at the position with Ed Oliver, I don't think it doesn't financially or structurally make sense to invest however much he is going to command, while the Bills also currently allocate the most salary cap to the defensive line in the entire league. So I don't think the likelihood of re-signing Jordan Phillips is very high. If I had to pick one, it'd definitely be Shaq Lawson. not just because of the price tag, but also because I think he's been the best defensive lineman on the team this year.
Yep.
Someone makes a good point. Ryan Michael in the chat makes a good point. I need to point out also, Jordan Phillips is a leader. I was at the game, and as soon as Levi Wallace missed the TD tackle on Connor, Phillips went to his face immediately and had words for him. McDermott takes him out for extra point. But so what does that do? Levi does that response. Says the playoff berth, love this team. Okay. I think he worded it wrong, but I get what he's saying. He's pretty much saying that Jordan Phillips went to him, talked to him, lifted him up, and Levi Wallace came back and made a play.
Yeah, Jordan, that's a young player leaning on a veteran player. Right. That's great to see and hear.
Right. I agree. But no, if I had to take a pick on this, I gotta go with Lawson because he's the end. And like you said, we have Ed Oliver, and I'm assuming next year Ed Oliver is gonna be playing 75% of the snaps at that spot. Mm-hmm. You have Star Latuli, and you have Harrison Phillips coming back, the one guy we're not talking about. So I think between that, with the price range for Jordan Phillips, I don't see him coming back, and I think he's gonna get paid, and I think he's earned his money. Mm-hmm. But Shaq Lawson, I think we definitely need to retain. For one, Jerry Hughes is gonna be 32, 33 next year. Trip Murphy's gonna keep rotating, and Shaq is actually now he's rotating to the left side of the field as well. Mm-hmm. So I think we need to retain Shaq, and maybe even he starts next year. I don't know. It just like I said last week. It sucks because him and Jerry Hughes both play on the right side, and that's where they're both comfortable at. You know.
And then there's that we don't know what Bean and McDermott will do. You never know what they're gonna do. You know, they say they want to retain their own. They want to keep taking care of their own. So you don't know what they're going to do. They might keep both of them. They might sign both of them.
And I understand that it's kind of a hindsight, almost you could call it almost a pointless conversation. But do you think that the front office regrets not giving him a fifth-year option?
No.
Not
at the time. Not at the time. You know, he was dealing with injuries. He wasn't producing. He was hardly getting on the field. You know, let alone being able to make plays. So I don't think they regret it. I think it was, prove it. You know, if you want to get paid, prove it.
It was just something I wanted to talk to you guys about because I don't think we can talk about Shaq Lawson without mentioning how they passed up on the fifth-year option. I don't think they made a mistake with that. I think given off of the sample size that you had, the 2 years of coaching with that player and the things that you had and all the things that you've seen on film, it wasn't the right decision to give him a fifth-year option. But he has certainly hypothetically proved them wrong for not giving them the fifth-year option.
All right, guys, let's move on. Let's get to this defense because we are running out of time. Defense. Shout out to both defenses, like I said earlier. Both defenses played a phenomenal football game, physical football game. Both defenses were extremely fast. They corralled. And if you have a kid that plays football, I hope they watch that game, even though it was late, to learn fundamentals because that was a fundamentally sound defensive game all around. Fred Kilmartin will be happy. Coach Fred Kilmartin will be happy with that one. But Trey Day. It was Trey Day last week. It was Trey Day the week before that. It was Trey Day last night. And it's going to be Trey Day tomorrow. Trey White, killing the game right now. Tell Stephon Gilmore that anything you can do, I can do better. Gilmore gets 2 interceptions. White gets 2 interceptions. Almost takes one to the house. I wish he could have got it. He got the lineman to catch him. But hey, Trey White is shutting everything down.
He's not going to live that down, though, that lineman catching. There was an offensive lineman that caught him.
Yeah, he can't live that one. What are your
Great
thoughts
angle. Great angle.
Yeah, okay. What are your thoughts on the Trey White? I mean, what's going on? How is he doing this? Fred?
I don't know what's going on with the guy, but I mean, he goes down with a shoulder injury. I think he's done. He comes back in and takes the ball. I don't get it. Yeah, two. Right now he's tied for what? 6. He's tied with Gilmore. They both have 6 interceptions. That's the most for him for a season. That's career high, right, for him.
Gilmore?
For Trey.
Yeah. For both, I believe, ain't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
most Gilly ever had was 5.
It just seems like Trey White's in the right spot at the right time. And you know what? These interceptions come out of nowhere. I mean, twice we've had it where he's won the game for us against the Bengals. He stopped the drive against Miami. Yeah. And then now this one coming out of nowhere. The guy just has a knack for finding the ball. He's another player that's starting to, grow into himself. And he's an asset. And he's another one we're going to have to pay to keep on this team. But, yeah, Trey White.
Well, we said before the season that the only thing that was separating him from all the All-Pros was the turnovers and having the numbers. By golly, he has the numbers. Clayton?
8 turnovers, 6 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. Trey White, I mean, he's establishing himself in this league. I think he is certainly establishing himself in this league, and I would not mind at all if this team gave him $18.5 million this offseason. Because that's probably what you're going to pay Trey White on a year-to-year basis if you're going to keep one of the top 4 corners in football, and that's exactly what he is. He is one of the 4 best corners in football. And let's talk about how timely these interceptions he's making are. It seems like every time that Trey White makes a play, the other team's driving. The momentum is starting to shift, and then Trey White makes a play. You know, if I don't think Duck Hodges watches much film, because if he watched any film on the Buffalo Bills defense, he would know not to throw in the direction of 27. Because Trey White, he's having an all-pro season, in all honesty. In the AFC, in this league, I think it's him and then Stephon Gilmore. I think he's really established himself as not just one of the top 3 corners of football, but one of the top 2.
I don't think he's given up a touchdown yet this year.
No, he has. Neither him or Gilmore have given up a touchdown, and Trey White's allowed slightly more yardage. It is a very interesting comparison, and it's
Trey's
awesome.
always on the best receivers too.
Both drafted by Buffalo,
and so is Gilmore.
Yep.
So is Gilmore. I'm looking for my guy Gilly now. No, I mean, timely is the word, and it's about changing games. Both of these guys are up for Defensive Player of the Year. Not saying that either will win, because we know how hard it is for a defensive back to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
But both of these guys are up there for Defensive Player of the Year.
or a Bills player for that matter.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a handful of these Bills players make the Pro Bowl this year too.
We got to get they got to give us at least 4.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
They got to give us 4. And at this point in time, if I had to pick 4, Trey White, Micah Hyde, or Porter, take your pick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Jordan Phillips. Yeah, the numbers are there, but it's a weird case. But you can make a case for him. John Brown, and honestly in a kind of sneaky way, Quentin Spain.
I agree with Quentin Spain, absolutely.
I want to throw in one more. I think if Josh Allen, he scores, if he throws 3 more passing touchdowns over the next 2 games, and he rushes for 2 more, and he eclipses 3,000 passing yards and 500 rushing yards, I don't think you can leave him out of the Pro Bowl. I really don't.
It's possible. I'm not knocking it. It's very possible for Josh to make it. I mean, we know that they have so many alternates now. People don't even go anymore, to the point that, I mean, our whole offensive line may make it if we don't make the Super Bowl, because I'm not writing this off for the Super Bowl yet.
Yeah, maybe Mitch Morse too.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah. So, but this defense is showing up. They're causing turnovers now. And that's what we've been waiting for. Causing turnovers, we're giving the offense crazy field position. We're stopping points to go on the board. And this is some of the interviews that some of these guys had with Pat Freeman towards the middle weeks of the season, where I remember Shaq Law specifically said, maybe we got to cause more turnovers. And now they're doing that. And you give Josh Allen this ball at the 30, 40-yard line, it's a good chance that you're going to score a touchdown. And that's what we're seeing. What do we see from this defense, Clayton? I mean, what's going on with them?
You know, I said it to you during the game last night. I thought that the key to stopping the Pittsburgh Steelers was to force their 4th-string quarterback to throw the football. And they simply had to. And it wasn't because of the deficit that the Bills had established on the offensive side of the ball. It wasn't because of the lead that they had gained. It was more so because the Bills were not allowing James Conner or any of the slew of running backs for the Pittsburgh Steelers any room to run at all. You know, you talk about a good run defense. It mostly has to do with gap integrity and the accountability of your responsibility for your gap. That is the bare bones of what run defense is crowned upon. And you go back and watch this game, and you look at how the Bills established the tone at the line of scrimmage, how they almost beat their blocks instantaneously at play after play from the very first drive. They were taking down James Conner, and they left him with no room to run. And, I mean, this was the game where I was sold about Shaq Lawson after we mentioned him earlier. He had one of the best games of the season of any defensive lineman on this football team. And it can't go without mentioning Star Lotulelei, another solid performance from the one technique position. And the run defense left him nowhere to run. So you had to turn to the duck, and 4 interceptions came our way.
If it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, it's
gotta be a Steeler.
It's Duck Hodges.
It's a duck. But no, I mean, they tore this kid up. I mean, this kid didn't know what was coming at him. That's why I said this game never worried me. once they said they were starting this kid, and I watched the film, this kid was just throwing ducks up there. Geez, I said ducks. Well, he was throwing ducks up there literally every game, and it was 50-50 balls. And it was funny because we put a tweet on our live tweet right before he threw his first interception. Watching the film, Hodges throws a lot of 50-50 balls. Bills have to capitalize, and they capitalize on every single one, it seemed just about. What did you see from this defense, Fred? You're always huge on third down conversions.
Yeah, third down conversions, that they were stopping them on third down. What I noticed is that the team is starting to play as a team defensively. They are holding their gaps, like Clayton says. That's one way to stop the running game, is to make sure you fill your gaps. You fill the gaps, you take away their running lanes. But I noticed that these guys are also swarming to the ball. I don't know if you noticed that, but anytime that there was a tackle, there was like 3 or 4 Bills players there. So that means that they're getting preached upon by McDermott and Leslie Frazier, fundamentals, and that's part of it. It's swarming to the ball, making those tackles. Don't be missing the tackles. You know, at the beginning of the year, you saw a lot of the Bills players, they were just lunging. Now they're actually wrapping up. They're finishing their tackles. So that's the one thing that I noticed. You're not giving up any extra yardage. So they're finishing their tackles. They're swarming to the ball. And I noticed a lot of times these guys are punching that ball out. We had, 2 forced fumbles? Shaq Lawson got one. Trent Murphy got one.
And the one before halftime was huge.
Yeah, right. Those are fundamentals. That's part of playing the football the right way. And that's what it seems like this team is doing.
And in interviews with Pat Freeman, you hear every defensive player, Lorenzo Alexander, the Shaq Lawson. And if you guys are following our page and you are not listening to these exclusive interviews, I mean exclusive because we're the only ones that's putting them out, from the mighty Oba Pat Freeman himself, directly from the Bills locker room on Cold Front Report, you're missing out on a lot of knowledge from these players that they're dropping. But the one word that these defensive players always say now is finishing our 111th. Mm-hmm. You hear that from every single one of them. Unison. Finishing our 111th. I mean, they're finished their 111th. And they're showing up. This defense is downright dominant now. They had a couple of rough weeks there when they came back off the bye. But they are right back in track. Levi Wallace, I want to definitely give a shout out to Levi Wallace. Levi Wallace, he struggled in the first part of the season.
Got his pick.
He got his pick, but not only his pick, he's shutting that other receiver down now.
Yep.
Between him and Kevin Johnson.
Yep.
Him and Kevin Johnson, they're playing ball. Teron Johnson. I love what Teron Johnson does within the running game. It scares me because he's going to be banged up through his career most likely.
Yeah.
Yep, because he's very physical.
He's reckless. He's reckless as hell. But I love what he does. This team is just downright dominant right now, and they're imposing their will.
Yeah.
Right.
They are.
Yeah, I have to agree. I have to 110% agree with the statement of imposing their will. Because, I mean, we talked about it. You went and watched that game in Miami, JT. You told us that the idea that you saw almost a different defense when it comes to the physicality, when it comes to the ruthless aggression. They were no longer executing, and they were no longer just executing. They were executing aggressively. And that's sometimes the difference between the good, great, and the best defenses in the National Football League. And I think the Bills are carving their way in stone to be one or two best defenses in football this year.
McDermott preached at the beginning of the year. He wants to play fast. He wants you to play physical on defense. And you're seeing it. Me, from being a fan so long, this is a physical team. This is one of the physical, probably in the last, since 99, I'll say it, that we have not had a physical defense like this one here. I'm telling you right now, these guys are physical. You see it. They're finishing their tackles. They're making receivers and running backs think twice about coming in their zone.
No, I agree. Speaking of that, we got two typical questions because we're going to be getting out of here in a couple minutes because it's Monday night, and we thank all you guys for joining us because we love you. And the guy called us earlier, Daryl Jacobson, called us the Code from Bullies. I like that. But, we're not into bullying. Shout out to Tiffany Nicole Green over there with the is it ESF?
Yeah, Elite Superfans.
Yeah, and her anti-bullying campaign. We don't bully, we love here at the Code from Report. But if you tread on our team, we'll have to hurt you. Mike Back puts in, if you want to have some fun, look this up. Renegade by Sticks on YouTube and go into the comments. It's full of Steelers fans, and the Bills Mafia is messing around with them hard right now. It's our song now. We got a clip coming out right after this show ends. and you guys are going to want to look at this, about how the Bills players responded to Renegade being played. Now, if you guys are not familiar with the fourth quarter, the Steelers play Renegade, and the players go crazy. The fans get those towels. They start waving them. The McDermott played Renegade all week during their practices to get them ready for that. And when that song came on, we got a tape coming out. Matt Barkley has his jacket off and swinging it around. Jordan Phillips, Ed Oliver, Shaq Lawson, and Micah Hyde are going crazy dancing, and the Steelers players are looking like, what is going on? When we are now, 6-1 on the road?
Yep.
When we come to your town or your city, we're taking it over. It's it. We're taking it over. And that's what has happened this year. And this is a team that is ready for prime time.
Well, we're going to get some games next year for sure.
Oh, you best believe it. Because Bill Mafia came out and we showed out. We paid our money. They have traveled well. We've done everything we are supposed to do to show to America we are here. And as we go back to it, we are imposing our wills. And as we impose our will, do not forget to get your stocking stuffers, your 716 cold socks, and your Baker brand so we can impose our will in the stadium. And your cold front shirts. Like, how can I forget? Your cold front shirts. Maybe by the summer we'll have a Fred Martin bucket hat. Replica, you know? So get your cold front gear too. Shout out to Seasonal Sports. You know, I got Fred Marriott over there in Utica, New York, doing great things. But guys, 10-4. We have punched our playoff ticket. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. We got the golden ticket. Oompa Loompa time.
Right. I mean, this is new ground for me as a fan. I mean, the Bills, I did the research a couple weeks ago. And since I was born in the year 2000, the Bills have had 10 different head coaches. What was that?
2005.
Yeah, 2005. 10 different head coaches. 7 different general managers, 19 different starting quarterbacks, 3 winning seasons, 1 playoff appearance, 0 seasons where they had 10 or more wins.
And what did I always say, JT? I'm tired of changing coaches every 2 years.
Yeah, yeah.
I want continuity.
Yep. He got continuity this year as the Bills are 10-4 for the first time since what? 93, 96?
Mm-hmm.
I forget the year, but
was the last time.
You know, they go on the road. They go into a hostile environment. They're 6-1 on the road for the first time since even Fred was born. And what was it, 64?
1966.
Okay.
That was the last time, not me being born.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure. So
I'm sorry.
I mean, this team is different. 6-1 on the road. There's not many football teams in the Professional Football League that can do that. It's hard to win football games on a week-to-week basis. It's hard to win games on the road. And it seems like every single time this team walks into a hostile environment, as we've talked about it all show, they take over the house and they make it their own.
Right, and it's partly due to the fans, and I think McDermott, they love it, and I think, like I said, this is going to become a thing. And I can't wait to next year when we go to the West Coast. I want to see how well we travel to the West Coast now.
Yeah,
this is going to become a thing. Donald Jones said on one of the Wife Series podcast shows that the Bills fans, when they find something and they make it a thing, they continue to make that a thing, and that becomes it. And this is going to be it. This is going to be it.
But you think about it, they went and got 2 victories on the road on primetime in 2 huge stadiums.
Right. So another thing, couple of things here. Let's not forget, wild things can happen. This is still, and let's not forget this because it is holiday season, and Veronica, Panchito, and Panchita have been on mine. This is still the season of Pancho. This is the season of Pancho. Let's not forget that because it is.
Play for Pancho.
Play for Pancho, and Pancho was just as big as part of this team as any of those players by the end of it. By the end of his life. So let's not forget about that. That is exactly what this is. So definitely shout out to Ezra's family during this holiday season because we know it can be tough times. I saw Veronica put a video up last night. Ronnie, if you don't know Ronnie, his wife, she put a video up last night of them watching the game and then punching the playoff, and you know, as they announced they were making the playoffs. So let's keep them in our prayers. Also, our colleague, Leroy Mud Dog Winslow, he has also had a family tragedy the last couple of days. Don't want to give out too many details of that yet. We will be to offer him support through the Cold Front Report page. But he's dealing with tough times too, and let's definitely keep Mud Dog in your prayers. Such a lovable guy. So, he's a colleague of ours and a friend, and he's our family. Mm-hmm. So, but guys, final thoughts. Clayton, coming to you.
This is incredible. I mean, it's almost euphoric in where the Bills are. I've never experienced it as a fan, and it's only what's to come. It's been so long that the Bills have been losing. It's been so long since they've been irrelevant. And when you hear Brandon Beane say it, when you hear Sean McDermott say it, we're not just building a team to be good for 1 or 2 years. We're building a team to be good for a long time. You have to believe it. And I can't help but believe it. And I have faith in that. I have faith that they got their franchise quarterback. And on a side note, don't forget to listen to the Overtime podcast. Jeff Uvino and I recorded the episode tonight. It'll be releasing in a little less than 2 hours at midnight tonight. So we reflect on, both of us being younger Bills fans, we reflect on the last 20 years, the drought and what it's like and being in a different position, as well as this past game and a comprehensive preview. And maybe the Bills might beat the Patriots this week.
Fred, what do you got?
Hey, I mean, what are you going to say? I mean, I'm not going to lie. I shed a little tear last night when I realized that we made the playoffs again and no one helped us. I'm not going to lie. I'm like that. Come on. I love my Bills. I love it. I just want everybody to know, guess what? Go out and start trusting the process, because the process is real. And another thing, I know we're live on Monday night, but guess what? Tomorrow the Bills go back to work. Get your lunch pails. Let's go. We got to beat the Patriots on Saturday. Short week for the Bills. Got to get out there and get that W. I would like nothing more than watching us go up there and beat the Patriots in New England, maybe Tom Brady's last game up in New England.
Yeah, true. If final thoughts for me is, if you thought the Bills weren't real, if you thought that McDermott and Beane didn't know what they were doing, if you thought that they couldn't go on the road and win 6 games, you're wrong. And if you continue to doubt this team, I don't even see how anybody could agree with you anymore. You're at this point in time, you're a clown. I don't care how much you're getting paid, what network you're on. If you continue to bet against this team and to actually give them the credit they deserve, then you're a clown. Doesn't matter who you are. You're a clown. This team has earned the right for primetime games. This team has earned the right for this team earned respect. Most of all, they've earned respect. We went into other people's houses. I don't care what the schedule is. I don't care who. We can only play who's on our schedule.
That's right.
Doesn't matter what it is. We don't make it. Maybe Bill Belichick makes it. I don't know. They've had easy schedule for the last 12 years. No one says anything about them. But all of a sudden, you don't want to give us the respect? You think we care in Buffalo? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Underdog for life.
We don't need your pity. We don't need your hand. We have our own pride here in Buffalo.
Buffalo Bills pride.
So if you ain't on the wagon, we don't need you on it. You can walk the Oregon Trail by yourself. Because I tell you what, the Oregon Trail let the go, and that's where this team is headed. Believe it or not. But don't forget, guys, tomorrow, Mike Hyde, Amanda Hyde, they're having a great event. Kicks for Kids. They're doing great things in the community. They're going to the playoffs. We're winning ball games. Cold for growing. Hey, we're 5 followers from 5K on our page. It's been a year.
Get out there and follow us. Get out and like our page. Follow us. All the Bills information, Bills news, updates, it's all there.
Right. You see us go live, share, throw them hearts in the air. You know it is. How we do it here at the Cold Front family. Like and share. But I mean, guys, we really want to thank you. We can't thank you enough. We're over 2,000 followers on Instagram. We're over 2,000 followers on Twitter now, and we're going to hit 5K likes and almost 7,000 followers on our Facebook page. We do this for you. We don't make money off this. We don't do anything to make money. You don't see us pushing merch down your throat, anything like that. We just do it because we have fun. We enjoy it, But we just want to say thank you.
We don't push our merchandise.
No. Yeah, of course. Definitely shout out to Dan Gambino from Cold Socks. He helps us a lot. Dan's always with us doing stuff. So make sure that you are going to Colts and getting them stocking stuff. I can't tell you enough how great these socks are. So I got some on my feet right now. I would show you, but the bottom probably dirty. But no, guys, great show. 10-4, playoff ticket punched. Can't believe
2 games left.
2 games left.
Time to beat the Patriots.
Time to beat the Patriots. I'll tell you what, I was thinking about going to the game this week because I'm only an hour and a half away. I looked at the tickets. The nosebleeds are $180.
I'll tell you right now.
They're trying to lock out Bills Mafia.
No, that's just their normal prices.
Hot take: if Devin Singletary goes over 120 scrimmage yards, the Bills win.
Hey, we'll lock that in. We're gonna lock that in.
Devin Singletary needs 271 yards for 1,000.
Really?
We'll lock that in too. I tell you what, I was going to the game.
729.
Ticket price is too high. I'm not giving Robert Kraft and the Cheatriots more money to pay videotaping people. I'm good. Yeah. But hey, guys, great show. It's an hour. We're overtime. Love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in every year. Please be safe in this holiday season. There's a lot of crazy people out there. Don't go jumping through tables. Let's make it through the holidays safe. Catch you guys next week, probably on Sunday at the Sunday night because they're playing Saturday this time. So we're catching probably Sunday night, regular time. Other than that, guys, we're out. I'm going to leave you with the Micah High Imagine Youth promo video. Make sure you check that out tomorrow if you can. Catch you later. Absolutely not.